Generation Zero's Showdown Update. The final update for Generation Zero brought with it tons and tons of awesome things. Brand new experimental weapons, a new storyline to finish off the overarching story of Generation Zero, which I thought was actually really good. Alongside that, major changes to base defense, how crafting is done, and how looting is done overall. Some of these changes are very welcome, but the base defense ones are some of the most contested changes. A lot of the community have, let's say, been a little bit disappointed with the way that the base defense has changed. It is now no longer about defending the truck, but about other things. We'll get on to everything about that and the 3 new buildable items that we can now put together. But before we do that, please subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, and stick around for much more Generation Zero and a hell of a load of survival content going into 2025. Generation Zero is wrapping up development. I will still cover relative things on it. We'll do random videos and specials every now and then, but with no new updates, the coverage will slowly grind to a halt, I think. Which is a shame. Once you've done a lot of Generation Zero, there's not much you can do. I've got at least 15 videos written up and ready to record and go already, so that's going to see us through a lot of January. And I'm quite excited for the future of the channel overall. So if you are a fan of survival stuff, as well as Generation Zero, please do me a favour. Fondle those buttons, I greatly appreciate it. If you are a fan of more story-based content, such as RPG games like The Witcher, Starfield, Fallout, things like that, check out the second channel, The Space Cowboy. There's a lot of stuff on there, and there's tons of new games coming in 2025. Now, the Generation Zero Showdown Update was a good one. But the major issue that we are seeing now is the base defense overhaul. Some of the things they've done to overhaul it are really good and quite enjoyable and do help smooth out the experience a little bit. But when it comes to crafting overall, things have changed quite a lot and not exactly for the better. So as we can see, there are many new things that we need, such as this here refined aluminium alloy, then refined tungsten alloy, then refined uranium alloy, then finally things like ethanol. Alongside that, we've also got this little resource down here, the phosphorus. That one, yeah. And to get these items, you're going to need to build one of 3 items. You're going to need to build either the drill, which will get you the phosphorus, the chemical lab, which will get you the ethanol, or the furnace, which will get you any 3 of the refined alloys, uranium, tungsten, and aluminium. Now, these 3, in of themselves, they are quite cool. They add a little bit more to the base defense, but they have hijacked the overall premise of base defense now, which is a massive shame. Base defense, as you can see here, going up to the truck, there's not really much you can do. So it's a little bit disappointing. But what we can do now, which is relatively good, is repair everything after a base defense assault. Now, I wouldn't recommend building new items as you progress through your base defense, because that will sort of commandeer the resources a little bit more. And as I mentioned, resource costs are a hell of a lot more. So as you can see here, when it comes to the building of items, you've got the phosphorus, which is a new item that we need. And then steel, things like that. They've not gone up by much, but they've gone up a tiny amount, which reflects the fact that they are pretty much one-time builds now. As long as they don't get absolutely battered and you build more, you will not need to renew the resources. You could build an entire base, it'd be completely wiped out, and then all you have to do is go over to this red toolbox, which is right next to the radio here, and activate it when you've got a base, and it will rebuild that base for free with no cost of resources, which is great news. You'll be able to rebuild everything without wasting any resources, and you can build the base that you want without worrying about the resources being disappeared if you do activate that base. So overall, I think that is one of my favourite parts of the new base defense revamp. Them making us use the new materials, not so much. Now, when it comes to obtaining these new materials, as I've already mentioned, using the 3 new parts. Now, the downside to the 3 new parts is you can only use these 3 in certain areas. So the base that I'm at in the farmlands now is compatible with just the drill. Now, the drill is the easiest of the 3 because you can build that almost anywhere. But the chemical station and the furnace are a little bit more difficult. You can build the furnace here at the Lorang control point. You can also build it here at the Strotskogen control point. Then for the chemical lab, if you come over to the Guldangan control point, you'll be able to build that one there. So they are buildable in various locations, but the drill overall is the best one. If you want a surefire place for the furnace, come to either this one here, Lorang, which I wouldn't recommend because it's very open and easily accessible to the machines. But then up this one here, it's a little bit more refined and close. And then, as you can see here, the Special Structures Chemical Lab. So it's quite good. If you click on them, it will tell you the special structures that you can build at them. So it does save you a little bit of time. But yeah, there's a lot of these dotted all over the place. So it is easier just to note that this one here, top right, this one here, sort of left, chemical and furnace. The rest of them I use for my drills. Now, when it comes to farming and going over, grabbing as many of these items as you can, when it comes to the drills, that one, not really too much of an issue. I find them relatively easy, because you can place 3 of those at once. They will give various amounts. I've got anything from 5 to 12 to 27, depending on the mode. So on easy, I've got upwards of 5 from each drill, so that's 15 if you do one successful run, or that will be 36 if you do a medium successful run, and then that will be close to 90 if you do a hard successful run. But the machines do come in force, and they do scale with the difficulty that you pick. So for instance, if you are doing an easy one, you're going to get a lot of prototype and military machines. If you're doing medium, you're going to get a lot of military and a couple of Phoenix machines. And if you are doing the hard ones, you're going to get a lot of Phoenix, and then occasionally the odd Apocalypse class machine. So it's worth bearing in mind that there's going to be a time limit on these as well. So you will have to defend the base for an entire length of time. And if you're using specialized ammunition, like something that you've crafted or something that you've built, you're going to be at a deficit when it comes to the rewards for the crafting components. So you'll be coming away with a decent amount of ammunition, yes, but not always high end. A lot of the time with the new loot system, you're just going to come away with standard FMJ and no armor piercing, which does make it a little bit more difficult to get a nice loot pool of some of those good ammunition types behind you. So that can be a bit of a pain. And when these missions go on for so long, the small mission going on for 3 minutes, the medium mission going on for 5, and then the hard going on for 7, you're using a lot of ammunition because these machines are constantly coming at you with no break in between them. So you will waste a lot of ammo defending these things. More ammo than you'd ever get back from the resources you're going to gain. But then when it comes to the actual control points themselves, the machines now don't attack you or the control point. As you can see here, going into this, I can't activate this now. I need to put a drill up or a furnace to get this to go. So the machines are not bothered with the truck that much anymore, which is a shame. I did like the idea of them coming and defending the truck, and you having to watch out, and you could build everything around that. Now we can't do that. So overall, I'm very disappointed with the way that the base building has changed. I did like the base building system, and it wasn't something you were forced to do. It was just there. But now with the new items that you need to craft, so you need the ethanol to craft some high-end medkits. You're going to need the refined stuff to build some of the better ammunition. This now forces you to do the based assaults. And I think that's a bit of a piss take. The crafting and loot system were perfectly fine beforehand. Why would you change something so fundamental to the game at the end of its life cycle? It is such a stupid thing to do, especially with no consultation with the community, you are basically leaving this game with them. The legacy is now in their hands. The only way that this game lives on is if players continue to play it. If you add something like mod support, things would have been a little bit different because people could mod these features out. But they've not done that, and they're not going to do that. They have said there is a hotfix in the works, but it may be too little too late. A lot of these changes have put off some of the core fanbase. You are leaving this game in their hands. It will survive through the players that play it and enjoy it. With these changes, that is going to be fundamentally destroyed. A lot of people don't want this, so they have said they're going to put a hotfix out to address some of the crafting issues. But they've done this before. They didn't address the crafting issues. Crafting was much more expensive, and it stayed that way. They didn't fix it. They didn't change it. They didn't honour their word. So I highly doubt that's going to happen this time. And it is a massive shame, because I know I myself won't be doing the base assaults anymore. Now I've done it, once I've got all the experimental weapons and had some fun with them, that'll be that as well. And slowly, I think towards sort of mid-2025, I probably won't touch the game again after that. So it is a shame. I do hope that they make some changes to this and reverse it, because some people don't want base assault. They want to play the game, they want to do the story, they want to kill machines. So hopefully it changes things. We will have to wait and see. What do you guys think, though? Are you disappointed with the crafting changes that were made, or are you happy with them? Do you think it's a good idea and it just gives you something more to do? I myself don't want more to do of the same. I'd like more new things to do for the end, but we'll have to wait and see. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. For now, though, I've been Wired, you've been awesome, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.